All right, everybody. Here is your study session for your final exam. It will be 25 questions and it will be 50 points. Each one's worth 2 points, and each of these questions in the study guide is basically the question on the exam. So, if you get this, you'll be fine. Okay, so let's just go through this real quick. The PowerPoint's going to be your best friend with this. It is straight up from there. Okay, so where do households derive most of their income? Remember, we had a few sources. We had rental income, we had assets, and we had wages. Okay, so that was going to be the biggest percentage of household income is coming from wages. Single larger transfer program at the federal level. Okay, let's think about this one. We had a bunch of different transfer programs. And what you're going to need to do is go into the PowerPoint and you're going to need to see which one it is. Okay, so there were things like Social Security, there were things like Medicare. Okay, hint, hint, probably one of those two. Okay, what do transfer payments do when there is economic growth? Usually when there's economic growth, we see these transfer payments slow down because people have better jobs or have jobs and are able to uh, not necessarily need as much assistance. What would an equal distribution of income yield in terms of a Lorenz curve? Okay, so go back to that curve. Remember, the closest it is to a straight line with no bow, the closest it is to perfectly distributed income, right? That makes sense. If there's big shaded area, that means those data points are skewed towards the right. Okay, what's the Gini coefficient? It is a measurement of the Lorenz curve. Okay, it is a way to compare income distribution, so you can look at different countries, for example. What happens as income is more equally distributed in terms of the Lorenz curve? That's basically the same question again. Then the Lorenz curve is not much of a curve. It is just a linear line. How has income distribution changed in the last 30 years? It has shifted towards a concentration of wealth and not equal distribution. So the smallest percentage at the top takes a larger percentage of total income produced in a year. Where does most people's wealth come from in the US? Again, this is a repeat question, so you pretty much know the answer to that one looking at question 1. What is social capital and what would be an example? Okay, human capital was things like skills. So we know that social capital is social relationships, and this could be things like clubs, or this could be things like associations. What is the most common argument for income redistribution? Okay, so this gets in kind of that philosophy stuff. And so, most common argument, truly, I think, is because it is correct, but that wealthy countries should have the ability to have all people be able to have some basic standard of living. Okay, also, concentrated wealth causes an issue in terms of power and economic democracy. Philosophical issues related to income distribution. Okay, so this is getting further into this. Some people believe that the government shouldn't have a big role in people's lives. Some people believe that the government has a fundamental role in people's lives. Okay, so let's see. What do opponents of income redistribution argue? These are people who do not like it, and they are saying things like, this is free market capitalism. If you can't make it, you shouldn't make it. Also, the government shouldn't be so big. It's that part of the chapter. Proponents, that it's the right thing to do and that a standard of living should be made possible in a society like ours. Okay, even if the economy doesn't produce it, people should have a right to a basic standard of living. Okay, the theory of distributional justice. Okay, this might be into that part again in the philosophy part. So there was a guy named, there was Rawlsian theory, there is Bentham. These are all those names. So you need to go in there and look into those. Then there's both of their definitions. One is that, a dollar in the hands of the lowest member of society is more important than a dollar in the top end of society. Also that providing to all allows for a greater good of all. It's very utilitarian sounding. What type of transfer program is unemployment compensation? Okay, so we also looked at kind of like a social safety net, and we also looked at that these are not discretionary, but they occur basically automatically when people need unemployment benefits from losing their job for economic reasons. Okay, we know that they're not called food stamps, but it is a type of transfer program. Now it's called SNAP, and this is food assistance for people to be able to afford basic food. Okay, who can receive the food stamp program, Medicaid, Medicare, and earn income tax credit? Generally, these are people who are in poverty. Who is able to receive unemployment benefits? Those who are working or have lost their job and are looking for a job. Do government transfer programs make income more equal or not? Okay, I think you can figure that one out. What's the idea of a minimum wage? It's a basic floor, right? It is the lowest that the wage can be in our economy. Not too crazy, okay? So look, oh my gosh, that's 25 questions. Wow, or 25 pieces of your study guide. Sounds like it's gonna make a lot of sense, okay? So that's all there is. I've made it all in chapter 18. This one should not be a problem. I expect you're all gonna get 50s or very close. So do well, okay? All right, everybody. Good luck out there, and I will. If you want to get in touch with me, look at our last video, or if you were there, you know. Otherwise, keep rocking it, okay? You guys are all going to be doing great here. Okay, over and out.